We've just released 8.013 this past week, and it does have quite a bit of bug fixes that we can go ahead and cover. All right, so let's go ahead and jump straight into it. As always, I do like to highlight the different help channels that we have available for all of our users, starting off with our Help Center, which is at help.deconetwork.com. This is where you can have access to all of our written help articles. Down at the bottom of this page is where you also have our other resources, including a link to our community forums, our feature ideas where you can submit new feature requests or improvement requests, a link to our blog where you can stay updated with the latest news as far as either updates or things that are happening in the DecoNetwork universe. And lastly, this is also where we get access to our release notes. So let's go ahead and jump into release notes. All right, and we see here the release notes for 8.013 are up, and let's run through these. So yeah, this update here, it mostly covers bug fixes. There are maybe one or two improvements or new features, but for the most part, it is a bug fix release. As we get closer and closer to the bigger 8.5 update, a lot of the feature improvements and new features are actually going into 8.5 rather than these smaller monthly releases. Okay, but let's run through these. First one we have here at the top is a new option that allows unpaid orders to appear in the artwork approval screen. So this is based directly off user feedback. We've had users requesting the ability to see artwork jobs for orders that they've not yet received payment for. And this is useful in the case where, the feedback that we received is, we like to kind of have the artwork team go ahead and start with the artwork and then have the customer approve it. And based on that approval, we move forward with the order or not. And, it does in some cases seem a little bit backwards that you would start work without payment, but that's the feedback that we received as far as the way the industry works, and so we've gone ahead and definitely added that option in. So let's check into where you can enable this. All right, so as far as where we enable it, we're going to go into the admin section of our system. We're going to click into settings. And from the settings section, we'll have the ability to jump into production and order settings. And from there, we're going to look into Business Hub order display. I'm sorry, it's production and order pending time. So it's on this screen here. And let's see, I'm not seeing the option here. Okay, it's actually this third one here, quote, order, and invoice settings. So now here at the bottom, you have this artwork approval settings section where you can allow quotes and orders not yet paid to have artwork appear in artwork approval. So let's go ahead and turn that on. Let's save that off. And we'll go ahead and jump into Business Hub now. And we'll see how that affects the behavior of our Business Hub. All right, so let's see if we can go ahead and create an order that might require an artwork job. So let's do add new order. We'll go ahead and select a customer record here. And we'll add a product. We'll quickly open this up into the online designer and upload a design for embroidery. Okay, so the system obviously recognizes that this is a non-digitized image, and I'm adding it for embroidery, so it knows that this needs a digitizing job or an artwork job associated with it. So let's go ahead and close that out. Let's save the order here. Okay, so if we look at the production tab for this newly created order, we see that it's currently on hold, right? There's a payment requirement of $68.97, that would normally be required for this order to go into the purchasing step, the artwork step, the production step, so on and so forth. Now with this new option that we've added, if I go into the artwork approval screen, you'll see that I have this artwork job showing up here. So this is what that enables, is for your artwork team to start seeing those artwork jobs prior to orders having been paid. And it's up to the, on a business by business basis, how you might operate. And so that's why we've made it an option and not a default. So you do have to go in and turn it on if that's how you want your business hub to operate. Okay, but overall, great improvement for the businesses that do wish to operate in that way. All right, the next option down, it's one that you probably won't notice from day to day, but it definitely does have a benefit, and that's the new functionality that any emails that are sent from within the DecoNetwork system, whether it's an email from your system to your customer, or it's a notification that you're receiving, let's say from Business Hub regarding an order change or an order having been produced or anything like that, all emails coming from the DecoNetwork system now have TLS encryption in transit. So obviously your email client may already have had encryption on the client side if you're using any major provider like Google or Outlook or anything like that. And DecoNetwork has encryption on our server end, but it's that in-transit part when the email is going from our server to, let's say, your receiving server, where that was missing the encryption. So we've now enabled that, and that makes sure that all the way that email is encrypted and your communication is secure. Okay, so that's definitely a great benefit in terms of security. Okay, let's see, we've got a few improvements listed here. One related to product import. So if you're doing a lot of product import using the CSV format, we've covered this, I think we actually covered it on the very first live session that we did here on YouTube, as far as how to do a CSV import. And part of the issue that we were hearing from our customers is when you were running one of these product imports, the pricing mode that a newly imported product is configured to have was always the single price mode. And that doesn't really match up to how you may have configured the price on the spreadsheet. So if you look at our required files for importing products help document, you'll notice down at the bottom we have a section for pricing. And the way this article describes it, you can use the vendor retail column to specify pricing in either single price or white, light, and dark pricing. Or you can use the piece price column to specify your pricing as SKU level pricing. And so what was happening was, even if you were using piece price, again, those newly imported products were actually being set to use the single price mode. So that wasn't quite matching up, and that's what we've improved with that change. Okay, so that's definitely going to help people doing product import. Any products that are imported as part of a spreadsheet that uses piece pricing will now be automatically set to SKU pricing mode. So it's less work for you to do after the fact for those newly imported products. Okay, this next one is a bit of a, I guess we'll call it a quality update. For this, we'll jump into the website page editor. So it's possible in the website page editor to switch back and forth between the 4 available themes. However, there's a checkbox in the change theme pop-up that prompts you whether or not you want to reset the pages of your website as you're changing the theme. And previously, before this latest update, that checkbox was enabled by default. and it led to some issues with customers that inadvertently reset their entire website while trying to change the theme. And so it's a simple change that we've made to simply default that option to off, so that now you can go ahead and switch between these themes without thinking about it, knowing that your content, the widgets that you've set up on each page, all of the pages that you've created, so on and so forth, all of that will be intact. The only thing that will change is the theme that you have selected. I guess along these lines, some feedback that I can give is, depending on how much change you've made through the style editor, even though you change a theme, you might not actually end up seeing much of a difference. If you've changed a lot of the colors and things like that, you may not see that much of a difference from theme to theme, because a lot of that does get kind of overridden by the styles that you set in the style editor. Right, so here you can see it's preserved all of my widgets. So these are typically the kind of the default widgets that you see with the fashion theme, but now they are here with the new theme that we've selected. So it's a nice option to have that off. And again, it's more of kind of like it's going to allow customers to change themes without really thinking about it. So it's a really great benefit. And in the event that you do want to start fresh with a theme, it's as simple as turning on that box, pressing OK, and at this point, once I hit OK, it's actually going to reset. We'll see here I'm going to have all new widgets for this newly selected theme, right? So I've removed what I had previously, and now I have the new widgets that come with the theme I've just selected. Again, here you see an example of some of the overrides that have been set through the style editor. Right, so I've changed the background color of my section here at the top. I've changed the font, and so that hasn't quite carried through from the theme. So something to keep in mind. All right, let's jump down to the next improvement. So the size of the input fields for selecting a product size have been increased or made in such a way that they won't be cropped. Okay, so let's take a look at that. This, I believe, applies in the online design tool. So before we move any further, let me just switch back to the fashion theme here. Okay, let me go ahead and publish this change. All right, let's go ahead and view the website now and take a look at that last improvement in the design tool. All right, so here in the design tool, if you click into, let's see, and I actually need to make another change here in my admin. So let me go back. I need to go into products, blank product display, and I need to change my multiple size display to show all available sizes. So right now it's showing in this kind of add another size layout, and I've switched it to show all sizes, and we'll see what the difference is here. So let's refresh the design tool. Okay, so the difference is now when I click select size, it opens up this pop-up. And what was happening is if your size name is long, like let's say maybe the size name was youth large or something like that, right? That took quite a bit more space. It was getting cropped, so it might say youth ... and it was kind of getting cropped off that way. And so now we've made it so that whatever the size name is, it will always show that complete size name. And it's going to be nice and simple for your customer to know what size they're setting quantity against without seeing that ellipsis with any cropping. Okay, so that's the last improvement in this latest update. The rest are bug fixes. So for these, we'll just quickly go over them. So there was a bug with PDF colors changing when you uploaded a PDF format design into the design tool, and that has now been fixed. This other one, this one's actually pretty big one, was raised multiple times by different customers, and so it's nice to have this one fixed. This one also applies inside of the design tool. So let me it relates to this option here, product set to default size. When this is set to yes, your default size for a product will populate with quantity 1 always. And so if you set this to no, what we've always done is through the product detail page. That's when you go into the create page and you select a product. So let me click into my create page here on the site, and let's click this Gildan 5000. So on this page, we've always reflected that, right? When you have products set to default size no, all of these fields will show a quantity of 0. The issue was once you hit start designing, that setting did not carry over. So in the designer, your default size continued to populate with quantity 1, and that's the issue that we've now resolved. Again, this is going to be a big benefit. What customers are trying to avoid by setting up their system in this way is they're trying to avoid their consumer ordering the wrong size, right? If you're a consumer, maybe you're just thinking, I'll pick a shirt, I pick the color, I add my design, and you forget about the size, right? It can be easy to kind of forget about that. And so with this new option, or rather the fix for this old option, it's now pretty impossible for you to order the wrong size. So I could add my design here, and when I go to add to cart, the system will let me know you have to select your product size first, and it'll highlight that for you so you can go in, click to select that size, and enter in your quantity. Alright, so very nice improvement there. Next improvement down the line, or rather fix, is related to extra options. They were not displaying in the production overview. So we've now made sure that whatever extra options are set against a product, so these are like custom fields, those do now display in the overview section. Alright, the next fix relates to the design on product page. This is the page that you see when you go through the designs page. You select a design from your system, and then you select a product that you want to apply that design to. So with this flow, you end up on this page here. This is the design on product page. And the issue that we fixed here is we were not displaying volume discounts or quantity breaks that might be assigned to a blank product in this section. So if a blank product has those defined on it, there will be an additional discounts table that shows here on the right hand side. We've now made sure to display it on this page just like we do on if you were reviewing a blank product or a decorated product. So it's good to have that consistent all the way throughout those different types of pages, which are very similar but for different use cases. Okay, let's see, we're almost done here. So this next fix relates to production files for embroidery. We recently upgraded to the Wilcom E4 engine, and as part of that upgrade, unfortunately, we lost the setting which made sure that your production file download for embroidery contained the correct colorway for a design that, let's say through the design tool, contained multiple colorways. Right, so I think actually that one that I chose might have multiple colorways. Let's double check. Yeah, so this one here has a red version and then a black version. And so either you or your consumer, depending on who's ordering, can go ahead and select from those multiple colorways. The issue that we were having is, let's say I chose the black one. That selected colorway was not reflected in the production file. So maybe the production file showed the red one instead of the black one that I chose. So that's an important fix that we've made to make sure that the production file matches exactly what your customer or you chose in the design tool. All right, these last two are smaller ones. So the next one down relates to custom product fields. Custom product fields that were completely removed, deleted from your system, may still have shown on your product pages. This was essentially a caching issue. Deleting one of those custom fields should have cleared the product page cache so that the system was aware of that product field, of that custom field no longer being active, and it should have removed it from displaying on your site. And that was missing. So we've rectified that in. As you delete a custom field, we now make sure to clear that product page cache. All right, and the last one relates to the EU cookie policy notice that you can enable if you're in an EU country. You can enable that option. The issue was, once you've enabled it for a store, you actually couldn't disable it. And so it wasn't an issue for most people. Most people that enable it, they're enabling it because they actually require that to be displayed. In this case, it was reported by a user who mistakenly enabled that option. And so we've made sure that that disabling it now works just as you would expect it. And so now you can toggle it just as you might need to. Okay, so that covers pretty much the major changes in 8.013. There are a few more changes not listed here. In total, 59 tasks completed with this update. And again, some good improvements overall. Most of these are fixes relating to Business Hub, but also I think the biggest improvement probably is this one related to artwork approvals. And it does seem like a lot of businesses operate similarly, where they may want the artwork team to go ahead and start work prior to receiving payment for the entire order. Make sure to book a tour and join in with a session with one of our client services team members, and they'll walk you through that entire process, show you the system, and see if it's a good fit for you. All right, so again, thanks for joining in, guys, and we'll catch you on the next one.